Has died after an apartment fire broke out in Lexington this afternoon. Investigators now looking into what caused the blaze. WKYT's Alyssa Williams talking with officials about the circumstances surrounding that fire.
There are still several questions left to be answered after a woman died here at Harrods Point Apartments in Lexington following a fire within her unit.
It was around 4:30 Sunday afternoon when fire crews responded to the apartment complex on Fort Harrods Drive.
Our crews got called for smoke in an apartment, which doesn't come in the same as an actual structure fire, so a little bit less of a response comes. Called in by a neighbor. When crews got here, they did notice fire coming from it and upgraded it to what we call a structure fire response.
Firefighters were able to knock down flames in the kitchen. That's when they found a 59-year-old woman in the bathroom.
So they got her out as quick as they possibly could, started performing CPR until they got her into the ambulance, continued CPR, and that's when they determined that she had died.
Fayette County Coroner Gary Ginn says her cause of death has not yet been determined.
There's a lot of questions concerning her death, so we're not going to make any type of ruling right now as far as the manner of death, whether it's accident, homicide, or suicide. There is no obvious manner of death like we have sometimes, so that's why we're leaving that end of it open.
Lexington fire officials say a few apartments surrounding her unit had smoke damage as well, but there were no other reported injuries. In Lexington, Alyssa Williams, WKYT.
That fire and the woman's death are still under investigation. We're told arson investigators have been on scene, which is standard protocol for a situation like this. Fayette County Coroner Gary Ginn says the woman's identity will be released once her family has been notified.